612. Big blind. 1,200.
Big blind. Yeah. No, but he was big blind. So he's got to be big blind. He's a very small blind. I was on a dealer, small blind. Eugene was big blind.
Oh,
so it's a dead small blind.
Okay, I've got the information.
No, button is here.
The man upstairs saying that, yeah?
He'll know. But I was dealer last time.
Yeah, it was right there.
So that's small.
Dead small, big blind.
Oh, they took out Eugene.
Yeah.
So the number 6 is big blind.
Big blind.
Thank you.
Don't fall your hand.
Okay. Big blind. Got that. You're big blind. Yeah, and dead small.
And the cards were given the correct way?
Correct way.
Yeah.
Please, 12.
Thank you, man upstairs.
12.
All right.
That's small blind.
You're big blind, sir. You're big blind. Let's put your card in the box.
Separate them.
Okay. Raise up to 3,002.
So welcome back after the Springbok game. We'd like to thank the fabulous Springboks for a good performance. We'd also like to comment that the New Zealand and French team did very, very well to beat us. And particularly the French referee, ably assisted by the French touch judge. Tongue-in-cheek, I think New Zealand played very, very well, but some dodgy calls from in the interpretation of us by our supporters. Anyhow, enough said about that. We're back with poker. Mr. Zhu in seat number 8 is calling off the raise here from Abdelessa with Ace King. So we're going to the flop. And no help for Mr. Zhu, so Abdul will be ahead, and I'd like to... No, it's a check. No continuation bet. 2 diamonds, so Mr. Zhu now picks up a flush draw. So any 6, any diamond. And I don't think Mr. Zhu's going far away from this hand. Bet 10,005. Jack of Hearts brings no help, and the Ace King of Abdelessa will be good. Check. Ace King wins. Button moves to seat 5. It is a dead button. Small blind with Jamie.
Okay, big blind 1,200. Big blind 80.
So those people who are going to be picking up the stream shortly, when we come back on after our half an hour delay, please feel free to just type in your name and where you're watching from. We like to know where people are coming from and how far our tentacles stretch. If you've got any comments about the players, the play, the way in which we deliver our pictures, and any feedback, we will appreciate. Always appreciate any comments that people make. So it's raised up by Waylon Fick with ace 8, Abdullah's ace 4, and Mr. Zhu has ace 5. Mr. Zhu is suited, Abdul's is offsuit. And Abdul preparing for a move here by the look of it. So that's a raise up to 6,500. And Jonathan with his 10-7 is going to get out of the way. Is Mr. Sue going to get sticky here? I think the answer is affirmative. And Wayland has to call 5-3 to stay in the hand. And the 8 of Wayland. So Mr. Zoo has gone all in here with ace-5, which is somewhat of an interesting move. He only has 14k, so Wayland's got top pair, top kicker here, so he's got to put himself ahead. 37 in the pot, and he needs to call 14 off. Wayland calls, and I think Abdul's going to get out of the way, and the cards will be on the back. And Mr. Zoo will have 2 outs, the 2 remaining red 5s in the deck. If Mr. Zoo manages to pick up a spade on the turn, obviously he'll get a flush draw. But only a 5 or a spade at the moment. Now we come some opportunities with the 2 on the river. And the 10 brings no assistance, and Wayland take on that pot, and Mr. Zoo is illuminated. That's not illuminated, it's eliminated. Although I'm sure he'll brighten up somebody's life. Okay, Mr. Zoo, you have to retreat from the table. Unlucky, sir. Hopefully we'll see you back again soon. We'll call player out from here, and hopefully we'll get somebody to replace. Mr. Zoo leaves behind him a bottle and a plastic bag. So not forgetting, we're warming up for our competition on the final day of the main event. You may or may not recall, our competition is going to be a slogan for Cardstream South Africa, and there'll be a prize involving a buy-in and some travel involved, and it'll be along the lines of, I invented one myself the other day, which was your cards are in our hands, with the play on the cards and cards being in a hand. So Jamie with the 10-9 raise, Jack Queen from Jonathan Khalil. So we've got a bit of a, we've got a wrap here if we're playing if we were playing Omaha. So it's a 3-bet from Jonathan. Trying to push Jamie around a bit here. Let's see how Jamie reacts. Jamie reacts by chatting to Jonathan, so I suspect Jamie might be going to fold here. And after a little debate, Jonathan will take down that pot. And he still remains our short stack at the table. We're hoping to pick up another player very, very shortly. This is round number 7, 124 entries, 74 players left in. I believe you can still enter up to the end of level 11. I'm not sure, but that will be confirmed later. Okay, it's to the end of level 9.
Raise up to 3,000.
So Abdul raised the 3K with the ace 6. Jamie Villela folds his 7-2. Jonathan Khalil. Young Evro will brighten up our day. Hello, Mr. Evro. Just buying in. Three players for the flop, 5, 6 diamonds and a king of spades. Wayland queen 10 in the big blind act first. Abdul's aces ahead. Jonathan looking for some sort of draw here. It's a long way to get there. And I'm pretty sure Jonathan's going to put these cards in the muck. And as predicted. Wayland's queen 10 is not so attractive anymore, and Abdul's bet will take that pot down, and we'll move on.
Waiting now, you're waiting because you tell the host how long you take one. No, he's a big step. How long is your no, they've got a message. No, you did. Once you don't get the message. I gave him a step. I think they were easy.
Raise up to 4,500.
I like Abdul's chips.
I apologise, had to leave the stream there momentarily. And as all of you out there in the internet land will know, it's my good lady wife's birthday today, and she's just swung by with her sister, so just had to greet her. And they've gone off to have some late lunch, I believe. So enjoy. My loyalties are in front of this screen. And Ebro Siloyenis, that's a silent P, has joined us. Ebro, you'll remember from event, I think 1 or 2 winning. And always a entertainment value number 10 with Ebro. Just a top guide over at the poker table. Really, really good value and always a lot of fun. And of course he can play. He can play, that is for sure. Jonathan 6-5 under the gun. Evro with the 8-2, gone in the muck. Legan has now woken up with a hand at last, and he's been very patient. Good, solid player, Legan. You'll recognise the face of Gio Zanetti.
Welcome, Gio.
His t-shirt says, "I'm here to get what's something." I assume that's mine. Yep, and that is indeed what it is. And trust me, he will consider all the chips at this table his. Very, very solid player, Gio. Saw him place yesterday in the high roller and got unlucky. Jamie with the Jack 10 entry cards for my club. He's going to fold. And Legan's good image gets his raise through. And not surprisingly. Okay, so we'll add in Gio Zanetti to that list in a moment. He's on a starting stack of 50k, I believe. And Evra has just joined on a starting stack of 50k. And none of the players at this table, including Abdul and Jamie, and the more accomplished, and Legan, I suppose, if I can say that, would be pleased to see Gio at the table. Gio's a very solid player and not a stranger to the bright lights here. Ever under the gun, King 8. 1,200 is the big blind. This is hand number 31. Folded around to Legan. Waynand is going to fold these as well. Abdelessa has, we'll find out shortly. We won't find out. And Jamie has got ace 8 offsuit. He's going to complete in the small, and that's a call. So we'll see. In fact, I think Jamie might have raised there. I didn't see. Okay, our software didn't show it.
Okay, blinds, please. Blind, small, big, 6, 12.
Okay, Legan under the gun.
Small blind, 600.
And Legan wakes up with a very nice hand, second best starting hand in poker, which is kings. He's going to raise, and a strong move from under the gun.
They raise up to 3,005.
And the raise is 3-5. So fold from Waynand and Abdul. Didn't see. Oh, Gio has ace 5. Jamie has one of the kings. You'll not be interested in those. Jonathan Khalil with a jack 9. And they're folded. And will Legan get any business out of Ebro with his queen 7 suited? And the answer is yes, he will. So the flop is very nice if you've got a 7 in your hand. This could be a bit of a cooler here.
4,000.
So 7, 7, 8. Flat call from Evra. Alarm bells in Legan's head, I'm sure. Straight draw gets there. Oh, check back. Legan's saw the alarms. 7, 8, 9. Anybody with a 10 is ahead here. Unless, of course, check, check. They still have a 7. And Evra will pick up his first pot at the table, 8,100 the profit. Okay, so there are your chip identifiers for the day, brought to you by Cardstream. 100 the black chip, 500 the grey chip, the pink chip worth 1,000, and the purple chip worth 5,000. We will see the 10,000 and 50,000 yellow and green appearing later in the day as the chip stacks get a bit bigger.
Raise up to 3,000.
Geo raises up to 3k, ace king. Jamie gets out of the way quickly. Jonathan re-raises here, which will be music to the ears of Geo. Jonathan with the queen jack suited. Lagan's pocket 2 goes in the muck. And all in from Geo. Asking Jonathan the question. Jonathan's actually gobsmacked there. He didn't expect that. I mean, basically, Gio here is saying he's asking him the question, and the answer is no, Jonathan. That's the answer. And you must just give it up, my friend. Trust me. And Giovanni picks up an extra 10k there. No, he's just listening in there to Gio. He says after level 9 they can't let us back in, so no choice, got to spin it up. Hence his push with the jack king, the ace king just now. Evro with the king 8 suited here on the button, so in the position, so we'll see a little bit of a raise from him. 3,500 the price to pay if you want to play. Big blind is Wayland. And he's already put in some money. He's got king 10 suited, so he's going to come along for the ride, I'm sure. And Jack Queen is an up down for Wayland. And Wayland picks up the lead here with the 10. And the river card I can't see. Oh, there it is. It's a king. So 2 pair for Wayland, and he will win the pot. Well done, sir. So this is hand number 35. 600, 1200, 1200 on the big blind ante. Mr. Zanetti on the button. 5-3 offsuit for Gio in the muck. 3,200 the bet for Jamie with the suited ace-4. Jonathan folds. Ebro folds and pocket jacks for Legan here. Might come in firing a bit there. Raise it up. 10,200. Well, that should see it round to Jamie, and Jamie makes a call. Only one spade on board for Jamie here, but he does pair his 4. So overcards, overpair to the flop. Basically, Legan's sizing is important here. 11,000. Jamie calls it off. Spade on the river on the turn, a bit interesting. No spade. Undercard, so Legan's still going to be happy. I think Jamie's got Legan on ace king or ace queen here. $15, I reckon. He goes all in and Jamie gets out of the way. And Legan's was figuring he wasn't going to get any more money, so he may as well protect his cards and puts it all in. And Jamie really can't find a call there, and you know, he has the fault. So interesting outer table there with Henny Apple, JP Oates, Max, and Gerard. I think that's Mr. Adams as well in the blue shirt. Yes, it is. Turns around on cue. And although I know the faces of the other two players, they'll have to forgive me. I'm not good with those their names. Jamie folds his 8-3 under the gun. Jonathan likes to pay pots, and he might like his 6-3. Nope. Since we've had some other players join the table, Jonathan's closed his range a bit, and rightly so. Ebro with the queen jack and the high jack. Looks like he's going to come along. Maybe even a little raise. 3,300, I think. And Wayland's found a hand here. Maybe a re-raise. Just smooth calls. And that might encourage Abdul with his suited 5 here. Abdul's in the big blind, and also 1,200 in the big blind ante. So he might be inclined to come along. And he's called, and Gio likes the value in this spot, so he calls also. And we've got a couple of players who've hit this quite hard. Missed the flop again there. Guy's too fast for me.
Okay, bet is 11,500.
Pair of jacks for Evro. And the 9 for Gio. And Gio calls. Gio's 2-pair get there. Evro shoves, insta call from Gio. They turn over the jack, and Gio turn over the 2-pair. And Evro basically needs any 10 or any jack. One card to come. 18%. And no sickness on the river, and Gio will pick up that pot of 122,000. And he's played about 3 or 4 hands. He's doubled it up and some. So Giazanetti, nice second on our chip count here. And I think Evro has been eliminated. So player outs on the feature table. And the feature table seems to be a place where people come to get knocked out. Pretty hectic. Okay, so we wait for our dealer, who will sort out what's what. And it'll be Jonathan Khalil under the gun. Abdul raises up, King 9 suited. Sorry. Lagan raises it up. Wagan calls, Abdul to call.
Carry rate up to 11,005.
And Abdul sees a bit of weakness and re-raises. Lagan's decided to... Looks like he's going to fold this. Yeah, he's going to fold it. And has Waynand got a fold here? 8,005. And call it is. Let's see what the flop brings us. 3-2-3. No help for the sixes. Sorry, no help for the King 9, and the sixes remain ahead.
Turn.
And the King comes for Abdul, and obviously he's now ahead.
10,005 is a bet.
And Abdul bets, and okay, we just turned the volume down on the table mic, and we seem to have a problem outside, so we don't want any bad language coming across, so we'll just leave that. Okay, so back to the feature table. Under the gun, we keep the volume down on the microphone. There seems to be a bit of a dispute in the main area, but all good, I'm sure. Legan looks down at Jack 2. Maybe we got a New Zealand fan in the room. You never know. And Wayland with the ace-5. Well, it sounds like we're getting Ebro back on the feature table again. Always good to have him on the table. And Gio's raised here. Jamie's all in with ace-8 suited in the small blind. So a strong move, and we'll see what Jonathan's got to do. They're still all interested in the discussions on the outer table. And Jonathan folds. Gio will look down his cards and he'll get rid of them also, I'm pretty sure. And Jamie will say, I've also got an ace. Well done, Jamie. Nice move. Always a pleasure having Jamie on the table. Great supporter of the tour. Okay, I think we can turn the volume back up for the ambient noise. Let's see what's going on. Okay, waiting for the dealer to put the cards out. As I said, I believe Ebro is coming back to the feature table, so a bit more entertainment value. And Legan's got 10-2 under the gun. Wayne at 9-6 hearts. And Abdul looks down at Queen Jack in the cutoff, so maybe a little bit of action here from. And there's the raise. Okay, we'll apologise for the language there. And Jonathan Cale's all in. Okay, we're going to turn the volume down at the table now. Unfortunately, we've got a disgruntled player here as well. And we're just going to put our camera out on the outer tables. We'll look at one of the outer tables. And we'll just discontinue the commentary just for a second. Okay, I am back on the feature table. You will not have picked up the commentary from the main floor during my time away. A few players were a little heated, and that's what we'll use that terminology. And it would appear that there was some foul language both on this table and the outer table, so we apologise to our viewers. This is a family show, and hopefully that hasn't offended you. And our tournament management and directors have put the whole room on a warning. The whole room, every player in the room is on a warning for bad language at the table, and anybody else who decides to swear or whatever, either on the feature table or any of the outer tables, will receive a one rail penalty. That is basically an orbit at your table where you lose your small and your big blind and you're asked to step away from the table. Continued behaviour would result in further penalties, which ultimately could result in the disqualification, but let's hope that doesn't happen, and that's where it is. Okay, let's get back to watching some poker, and we've got the ability for some great poker on this feature table, so looking forward to seeing this. And catching up with the hands, looks like Wayland made a bet based on the pair of sevens on the table, and he takes down the hand, so well done Wayland. Got a chip count there. Wayland's now top, Jonathan Khalil is bottom, and as I said, Evro has returned to the table. He's on a starting stack, and Giovanni is in second place, having got that full double up, and well done to you, sir. Okay, 13 minutes left on this blind level. We'll play for another hour after that, and then we will get a break, and that'll be the end of round number 9, and I'm being told that that is the end of the buy-in period. So once we get to the end of number 9, there'll be a break. People will get the opportunity to buy back in if they've been knocked out, etc. I don't know if you can surrender stacks in this event. We'll find out when Mark does the announcement, and then it'll be a freeze out, and then we see some even more exciting poker, and hopefully play down to fewer people this evening, with the final table ensuing tomorrow.
Every big blind.
Okay, Ebro raises it up to 4K, 10-9. Abdul comes along, and it's two players to the flop. Queen, Queen, 8. And there's 2 spades. King on the turn, so Abdul is 94% on this hand. Of course, there is still a straight draw here with a jack for Ebro. And Abdul will win this hand, of course, with the full house.
Check. Check. Quite his flash.
You don't bet over.
And nice hand by Abdul.
Correct. Now he's going back again. But he's only going back for money.
He's going back with his, you know, he's got a new chick. He's been with her for 2 years already. Boy's engaged.
Yeah. I can't believe it. Can you actually? My best mate, so he's thinking of immigrating. So he wants to just take
Okay, Jamie under the gun, 8, sorry, 8. In fact, it'll be a queen 4 offsuit. And there's the raise. Jonathan's cards we can't see at the moment. And Legan's going to fold those, I'm sure. Wayland's not at the table, so only Abdul to play. And he gives up his cards. Gio's Neddy's not at the table, so he will also surrender his cards. There's your leaderboard on the feature table.
No photo on the table, please, sir.
You ready, please?
Raise up to 3,000. Yeah.
Jonathan Glue with the ace-2 raises it up, and Evro is going to.
Well, can you
I think Evro's folded. I'm not sure.
Because it's on TV. Or because you're on a live stream. You don't think you're doing.
Okay, so I'm going to step away from the table and go and explain to Jonathan why we have to have the phones off the table.
Yeah. You see general break. What's the hospital name? What's a ski? No, man. What is that one of the government hospitals? In Cape Town. They're all on drips from General Frank. It's this. Instead, he said, Cape Town. All on drips to keep them alive from General Frank.
Look today. Queen Supreme, right?
raise up to 3,000, right?
No, but it was wrong there. No, but it was wrong.
The baby Frank. The one here in Cape Town. Thanks for listening.
Okay, big blind.
Abdul, it's going to have change, boss. I know you don't like the fact that you're stacked up.
Raise up to 3.5. 3-2.
So I'm back, and John understands why we can't use our phones at the table. Very understanding. Thanks, Jonathan, for your understanding. So we've picked up a hand here with Jonathan in the small blind. He calls it off. Everett calls, and it looks like it was raised by Legan. 6 is still good here, but the board's not favouring him with the 2 queens on board. And he checks it. And Jonathan decides to bet. I suspect this might get through. I mean, he's not represent. He can represent the Queen, but it's unlikely he'd actually be. And he gets that through. It's a nice bet there. Good timing.
That's a classic jacket. You said you're watching the rugby? Yeah, one in a million. You're watching the rugby. So he's shot, South Africa, South Africa. Just the last minute he says, Joe, who you on? I said, New Zealand. Let's go, New Zealand.
That was a 2-2.
Okay, Wayland under the gun. Another ace of diamonds suited. So apparently diamonds are Jonathan's best friend now.
3,000.
In fact, no, sorry, it's Waynand, and he's calling. Abdul with. We're not seeing Abdul's cards. We'll have to remind him to put him in the box. Geo85 gets out of the way. Jamie, he folds also. And Jonathan pocket nines this time, so he's picking up a few hands.
Carry race 10,005. 10,5.
Three bets to 10-5. And Waynand's attached to these under the gun, so we're going to see a flop two ways.
Flop.
Jack, King, 5. So Jack of Hearts, King of Hearts, and 5 of diamonds. 2 diamonds on board now, so Waynand picks up a flush draw, and he could bet here and get it through. Jonathan's decided that he's thinking about it.
Bet is 8,000.
The bet is 8,000. There we go. I reckon you could get this through here. Waynand's thinking about this. And he calls it off. And that's not going to help him, unfortunately. And the pocket nines are now solid, they're good. Wheeler checks his ace-9, and Jonathan shoves here, and he'll quickly fold. Nice play. Well done, gentlemen. Good poker.
I went in and I was carrying on playing for the high rollers. He just comes and fucking seats me out and puts my chips now. When I come here, I've lost my big blind.
So Chrissy I don't know how we pronounce this officially, but Light or Loot. But I always call him Chrissy Light. So, and Chrissy's a buddy of mine, local fella, very supportive of the tour. So nice to see him on the feature table, and deserves to be here. Got some game he can play.
Okay, 1024. Raise up to 3,500.
Jonathan gets his ace queen through. We're just settling down again at the final table. Chrissy's settling in, getting his chips. And I don't think his cigarette packet's going to annoy our reader, so that's good. And Evro is our short stack with 30,000. And we're on to our new level. 800, 1600, 1600 on the big blind ante, and we've got an hour to run to the next break. The total prize pool at the moment, the pot as it stands, is 1.7, nearly 1.8 million, so a huge amount of money being pumped into this. So Gia's away from the table, so he's under the gun. Jamie with the queen three of fold. Jonathan with the 9-4 also folds. Evro folds, we didn't see his cards. And Chrissy has got queen 5 here as a fold. And Lagan's woken up with pocket sixes again. I think he's just keeping these cards. All joking aside, he's had this hand 2 or 3 times.
Raise up to 3,500.
And the dealer very clearly announces their raise up to 3,500. So Wayland calls with his king 10, and Abdul puts his cards in the box. Thank you, Abdul. And that'll be a call by the look of it out of the big blind, so he's defending, and nothing, that's fairly reasonable call, I think. Flop comes a 10-10 queen, so if you're Wayland Fick, then you've just had a good flop, as they say. He checks it, as you'd expect. Abdul has been given the option, and looks like he's checked also as Legan bets,
5,800.
and Legan bets 5,800. Wayland will take a little bit of time here and just flat call this, I'm sure. Nothing to be benefited from raising other than losing your customer. So the raise has clearly sent the signal to Legan, and the only thing I can think is that Wayland's worried about a flush draw. Personally, I might have just flatted there. And you know, fairly polarized. Legan will know he's either got the 10 or he hasn't got the 10. It's that simple. And Legan will lay this down. Too good a player. And I think you got away light there, Mr. Legan. So you'll have heard there one of our tech guys talking to the dealer, saying to Abdul, if you'd like to sit on seat number 4, we can make you a bit more comfortable. But Abdul prefers to stay where he is at number 3, and he'll continue as such. So I'm going to say an official good afternoon, because I've not really spoken to our streamers today, but all the people on the stream, a few of you out there, and I won't start mentioning names just yet, but you know, really good to see you online, and always a pleasure to have all the people on the stream who can't make it here today. And in fact, some people who actually are here on the stream, and nothing wrong with watching it on a 30-minute delay. And your feature table is warming up a bit now. Jamie Vivella with the pocket jacks here. Expect to see Jamie make a move very quickly here. He want to play this long-handed. He want to play this fairly short-handed. And
4,500.
so Jamie raises up to 4,500, I think I heard him say. And Jonathan Khalil with the ace queen here is definitely coming along.
Re-raise up to 12,000.
I wasn't expecting the re-race, but there we go.
All in.
And Avra's all in with his ace king, and Jamie must be thinking, what just happened? Chrissy Luke with the king 6 gets out of the way. Lagan with the ace 10 is folding for sure. 9-2 from Waynand in the muck. Abdul's king 3 also follows quickly. Gio's not at the table. And I suspect Jamie might shove here also. Yes, he's shoved. So he's called it. He's also all in. So now down to Jonathan. And Jonathan's ace queen is not looking so attractive now. I mean, you can understand if he calls, but you can also understand if he folds. I think the solid play here might be the fold and get out of the way. And you're at starting stack as it stands, Jonathan, so you've only got to call 21,000, so it's about just over 50% of your stack, or under 50% of your stack. Depends if you feel like a value bet here or value call. We know that you're behind, sir. We also know that Evra's behind and that some of his outs are gone, and that's a solid folder. Well done, Jonathan. Cards on the back, jacks versus ace king. And because of the cards that have gone, it's 78%, 22% in favour of Jamie. And here we go with a nice slow flop, turn and river. So for analysis purposes, there's a gut shot jack, so he doesn't want to see, Jamie doesn't want to see his set made here. 2 spades on board, no hope to anybody. No chop available. Ace comes, and the river doth deliver. And that's the Barry Greenstein jack on the river. And we will lose Jamie Vivella from our feature table, I'm pretty sure. No, he's not covered. He's not covered. So Jamie will have some chips left. And to be honest, he's probably got 1 or 2 big blinds left. So unlucky Jamie. And let's see if you can do some magic and pull some Harry Potter moves here and spin that up from 1 big blind. Everyone knows you got lucky. Jamie laughs across the table. They all know what just happened there. So Abdul on the button, small blind Gio Zanetti, big blind is Jamie, coincidentally. He doesn't have enough to pay, by the way. So this is where the dealer needs to intervene and make sure that he understands where the money must go, to the big blind or to the ante.
Yeah, big blind, 16. Yeah, you're big blind. Yeah. Go ahead.
So you see, Jamie pays the ante first and the remainder goes in the big blind, so the ante takes the priority. Jamie Vieira all in with King Jack. I don't think he's actually seen his cards yet, but he'll be pleased to look down at those. It's folded around to Legan. Legan's not interested. Waynan also not interested. Abdul with the 9-4 on the button. It's probably obliged to call this off, or and Gio completes in the small, and will be 3 ways to the flop. There will be a side pot here. And the guys will sort it out themselves. And your flop is Queen, Queen 4. Abdul's got a 4, 6 on a 10, and our dealer's speeding up a bit there, but with an all-in. And we'll lose Jamie from the feature table
Okay, sit open.
as Abdules's 4 takes the pot down. So Shabir Essa online, brother of Abdulessa, calls himself the golfing brother. He's also got a bit of game.
That's more.
Edgar Antenzana, nice to see you online, Edgar, from Port Elizabeth, actually here at the moment. And Clint Marsh also on the line. Thank you for joining us. This is day 2 of the main event here from the Sun Sibaya Casino and Entertainment World in sunny KZN. And we thank our sponsors and partners in the shape of the Hendon Mob and the Global Poker Index, and our sponsors Aquavita Water, supplying us with player and staff water throughout the event, and of course Regal Hospitality and Events, of which Monsterjam Poker is a part. Thank you for your continued support and partnership as Legan looks down at the ladies who never go out alone.
Raise up to 4,000.
So Legan's raised this up to 4K. Gio gets out of the way. Jonathan Curlew is not getting out of the way here, and he's shown that he likes to 3-bet in these situations a couple of times. So I expect a raise out of him. Yeah, and he's all in, and that'll be a call. And we're off to the races. So nice and slow from the dealer. There's the flop. And there's a king. So king, jack, jack. So let's see if we got any sweat cards. And that's not going to help. Dead to one of the 2 queens. And the river does not deliver. And ace king wins through. And I think Legan might be covered here. I'm not entirely sure. We're just checking. Shuab Ahmad online. Welcome to the stream. Rex on the stream as well. So welcome, buddy. And it's been an exciting day so far. We've had some, obviously we watched the rugby, which was a bit disappointed.
67, 60 down. Huh?
51.7 and
51.7, yeah.
51.7. So I think Legan's going to be left with some chips here. And we clear the hand. And Legan's got 17,500, which is around about 10 big blinds according to our computer. So the blind's 800, 1600, 1600 on the big blind ante. 75 players in out of 140 entries, and we've got until the end of the next round, round number 8. And far be it from me to remind Darren Kramer that I had the under on 150. Okay, fantastic attendance here, by the way. Absolutely fantastic from the guys from Natal. Chrissy Luthier, under the gun, 50k behind, so he's a started stack, just bought in. I don't know if that's a rebuy or his first time in. He calls the 1-6, folded around to Gio with Jack 5. He's going to get rid of that. 4-2 for Jonathan. And it looks like Jonathan calls, and Evra also calls by the look of it. So Evra in the big checks, and we're 3-way to the flop. 3-9-7 I think Evro's 7 is probably good here. 2 diamonds on board. Still the 7 of Evro is good.
3,500.
And betting out on the flush draw, Jonathan. Jonathan has bet on the flush draw.
2,500.
Jonathan's bet 2,500 on the flush draw. That's it, we're catching up.
Up to 6,005. Raise up to 6,005. Call.
And Jonathan calls, so pot growing. The river is a 4, so Jonathan Kalu actually wins this with a pair of 4s. And Chrissy barrels, and it's not his turn.
If you check his bet stance, just keep your bets in that. If you check his bet stance, if you bet, he can do whatever he likes.
So you heard what Giovanni said there. If you check, his bet will stand. If you bet, you will have changed the action and he may do whatever he wants. And that is the correct ruling. Even though officially the players can't make rulings, the floor only can make the rulings. But Gio knows the rules, he's a very experienced player. So once again, if Jonathan checks, then Chrissy's bet has to stand because he played out a turn. If Jonathan decides to bet a different number or whatever, then
8,300.
Chrissy can bet whatever he wants. But Chrissy is obliged to bet the 8,300. These two players know each other quite well. In some cases where a player bets at a turn, they do it deliberately. I'm pretty sure that Chrissy didn't do it out of turn there deliberately. I know Chrissy quite well. His integrity is not in question here, and he wasn't angle shooting. But there are some less honest players around, shall we say, that would have done that to get a reaction. But I like Chrissy's bet here. He's saying to Jonathan, you busted your flush, and if you've got a pair, well, you've got to call me. But there is a straight on board. And Jonathan doesn't know it, but his 4 is good. But it's harder when you're sat there and you can't see the other person's cards, of course. And he lies that down. And that's a correct fold given the circumstances and the situation. And if he watches the stream back in 30 minutes, he'll probably give Chrissy a little bit of flack. But that's poker. That's what it's all about. Bluffing is a part of the game. And well played, Chrissy. And also...